Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, y'all, we're back, man. Episode 44 of the Medianoche podcast. Damn, I didn't think I was going to get to episode 30. And here I am at 44, man. This is great, bro. I really appreciate that. Beleaf, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man?
It's good to see you, man.
Likewise.
You know, I appreciate you coming out, especially at a late hour. You know, I know you're a family man, and it's Friday night, so I don't know what strings you had to pull to allow yourself to be here, but
I had to let them
it.
go to sleep. I let them go to sleep, and I just jumped out.
That's funny, bro. You put like pillows where your body would be.
Yeah, just jumped right out of the window,
That's
tippy-toed.
That's funny.
Nah,
bro.
they good. They all knocked out by now, but yeah, I'm good.
You just put the fitted hat like right there by the top pillow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, left the CD on the pillowcase just in case I get bored.
That's funny, bro. Man, how you been, bro?
Chilling, man. Maintaining. I can't complain.
Yeah. It's been a minute, bro. I remember the last time that you came through was with the rest of Dub P with Mowgli and with Joey. And it's tough to really delve into anything when it's more than one person, you know?
Yeah, that was like more like a collective. Everybody was drinking. And, you know what I mean? It wasn't really too much of a content that was really covered on there.
Yeah, I try to. Well, really, we all try to, but you know, there's a thin line between like bullet points and just kind of letting things go where they go.
Yeah, we were just having fun.
You know.
Yeah.
But there is a couple things that I had in the back of my head to bring up the last time that we linked up. That I'm actually thankful that now that it's just you and I, this time around. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That we can chop it up. So just to give people a little background. I've known you since I was like maybe 16, 17 years old. So technically, I've known you for like half my life, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time, actually. Yeah, like about around that 16-year mark.
I remember the first time that I met you was at the 305 barbecue, you know?
Yeah, you were rhyming like with So What, like with Parable. It was like in a cipher or something like that. I remember seeing you going there, and you guys were like, you were rapping. I jumped into the cipher with you.
Correct. And I was like, this guy's good. You know, I was like, this guy's good, which is good because I want to be able to be around other dope MCs, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, likewise.
And, I appreciate that, man. But one thing about the way that y'all was moving back when you guys were with Night Fusion Studios, it's like y'all had like a run where you guys dropped the collective tape, which I believe was Organized Crime.
Yeah.
And then everyone dropped their solo projects, you know?
Yeah.
You had the Beleaf system, and I remember when I put in the Beleaf system, mind you, I had never put out any music, any like body of work at that time. You know, you guys had been dropped projects, and you had like a good system going with DJ Fuse. Shout out to Fuse.
Yeah, Fuse.
And when you had the Beleaf system, there was a cool format of the way that you put that tape together where you were like narrating the tape. The skits in between the songs was you telling the listener, you were like hosting your own tape, you know?
Yeah, that was like believe it or not, that was like a last minute thing because like we just had the tracks going through the whole CD, and I'm like, yo, it's kind of missing something, you know what I mean? So I wanted Fuse to do it, but Fuse is like, nah, I don't do that. So I was like, you know what, fucking throw on the mic, and I just hosted it like literally like 10 minutes before going into work to my 9 to 5 that I had back then. I was like, all right, let's just do it real quick, and I left.
You know, that tape, man, I feel like that tape was very good, bro. Like, and it aged well too, because I remember I had the CD, and I remember, you know, it's very hard to keep a CD from not getting really scratched up. Yeah. And even when it got like mad scratched up, it was preserved enough for me to upload it to this Windows computer that I had at the time.
Yeah.
And you upload it, and it just said track 1, track 2, track 3, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had a digital version of it, and man, I don't have that computer anymore. All the files got lost, you know?
Right.
But I remember when the first time that I heard that tape, when it finally got around to one of the last songs, it was Roommate,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, like, mind you, this is between Beleaf and I, like, the song Roommate was, it definitely was received well from South Florida, you know, the 305.com, whatever. And would you mind, is that song available online?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is actually. It's still, I re-put it on another mixtape later on. That's on Dat Piff. It's on the 338, but as a bonus track. That and One Reason is on a bonus track on that CD. So all you got to do is go to Dat Piff and look up 338, and it should be there.
So I'm not gonna spoil the listeners on what the song is about, but man, go check it out, man. Beleaf, Roommate. I remember when I heard that song, like I was like, damn, this was a very well thought out concept, and you had us as the listener going until the very end when I was like, oh snap, the plot twist, you know?
Yeah.
Which I won't, mind you, I'm not trying to reveal, but like, do you feel like that's missing nowadays, like songs like that?
Yeah, I mean, I know Joyner Lucas and stuff like that. He does certain things of that concepts. I mean, the concepts of that nature, but yeah, you don't have a lot of that anymore, you know. And it's a different generation, you know what I mean. And even with the generation that we are predominantly from, they are not doing that kind of stuff anymore either. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I gotta agree. It's missing right now.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays the main format of songwriting is you either have a concrete concept, or you have like very obscure random thoughts strung together with how they rhyme with each other, you know?
Yeah.
Which is good too. It's almost like I don't even know how to describe it, right? It's weird, right? How things went from so much more like Nas and Tupac and these guys, they had very concrete concepts. Eminem, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas now, like topics don't last more than 2 bars, you know? 2-4 bars, that's it.
Well, it's kind of the way I see it is like it's kind of the age that we're living in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has like kind of attention, like a attention disorder. You know what I mean? Because all of the screens, like everything on the phones and everything is information is coming at you too fast, right? So, like music in general on Spotify, on SoundCloud or whatever, it comes out on an abundance amount. So people really don't they don't really want to take the time to really listen to one record or fall in love with a project. They just want to bump it for about a week and then it's on to the next one. That's at least from what I see what's going on nowadays.
You know, it's true, man. I feel like it could be disheartening too. Like when you spend 6 months on a project.
Oh yeah.
And then you put it out and you have this, it's almost like a lottery, you know?
Yeah.
You put this body of work out. They only see the cover and the track listing, how long each minute is.
The first 15 seconds of that beat, you know.
Yeah, it's weird, man, you know?
It's fucked up. That's what it is. It's sort of like the same thing with Netflix. You know how Netflix releases a whole season or whatnot. You know, those motherfuckers took like a year to do that whole season, and you ate that shit up in like 3 minutes. Yeah, I mean not 3 minutes, in like one afternoon, and then it's on to next. You don't even remember it, and that's like I said, the attention is not there anymore to stay for too long or fall in love with stuff like that.
Yeah, and people call things a classic only because you can play it more than once.
Yeah,
you know?
Like,
yo, that's a classic. But it's just because it has replay value, you know?
It has replay value for this month, you know? When, I mean, the shit that we were listening to this shit for years. You know what I'm saying? That an album for like years and be like, oh, all right, this album is a shit. We could still play it. You don't really get that much artists that could provide something like that. Like Kendrick does it. You know, I could still bump Good Kid, Mad City, and stuff like that. It still has replay value, but it doesn't happen a lot.
Dr. Dre came out with that Compton album, and like, that's Dr. Dre, bro. He only has 2 albums before that. He has The Chronic and The Chronic 2001. So for people to like overlook this man's 3rd album, like it's just it's a soundtrack to the movie. Yo, I go back to that album, and I'm like, damn, dog, like this is incredible,
Yeah.
But it's almost like, I remember this one time I saw this video of Lil Wayne, right? He was talking about like, oh, everyone raps good now. Oh, everyone raps good. It's almost like rapping good ain't even good enough. It's hard to argue that because it's true. Like nowadays, I remember when Eminem first came out, Eminem's quality of rap was considered the standard, like the highest level of like string together rhyme schemes. And since then, everyone learned how to do that. Yeah. And now everyone,
not everyone, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like a good majority.
Yeah, like what I was gonna say is like hip hop in general, is desensitized to that quality of rap.
Exactly. It's like I would compare it to in the 80s with breakdancing, right? And where you saw somebody do a head spin, right? You see somebody do a head spin now, it's like not even impressive. Back then it was like, oh my God, but now the breakers that are still doing breakdancing stuff now is like they're doing shit that I've never even thought or even imagined that they could do. You get what I'm saying? It's like there has to be, I don't know. I can't really find the words. It's just, like you said, we're desensitized to it. The lyrics that are coming out now, like the Joyner Lucas's type of flow and stuff like that, he's dope, but it's not like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's just dope. That's it, because we're used to it. You feel me?
Off the top of your head, how do you feel like it's a good way for MCs like yourself, even like cats that you roll with, like for example Mowgli, right? Yeah. And other guys, I'm not trying to name drop or whatever, but like how do you feel like you have to move nowadays for your music to resonate with people?
I don't know. I kind of have my own way of viewing everything in regards to the music and how to portray your music. You know what I'm saying? Or the way I see it is this: when I was growing up, all I wanted was to have my CD or whatever project sitting on the shelf right next to the major players. You know what I'm saying? Or being able to have a studio to be able at my disposal to record whenever I wanted to. And I have those things now, you know what I'm saying? Or people have those things in general. The artists have those things where they could upload your stuff on Spotify and all that stuff, and you're right there with the players. Now, with me is the way the game is now, you have to like put your stuff on the playlist. You gotta, I guess it's a new form of payola. You gotta pay the sites to get them on the certain playlists that are on circulation in Spotify or whatever these things are, these platforms are. But the game is so saturated. Like even the major players, like the Jay-Z's, the Khaled's, and all that stuff like that, they have to attach their album to certain things in order to get album sales. Yeah, they make their money and they make a shitload of money off of other things. But to actually sell albums, it's like you're jumping into a dying market. You know what I'm saying? These are the major players. These are like, I think Khaled was already complaining about how Tyler's album was like number one and his wasn't. Yeah. And it's because one of the things that they were doing is he was trying to attach his, Billboard wasn't counting his album sales
as a bundle.
Yeah. Yeah. But look at that. Like, look at that whole, the way the game is now, or the industry or whatnot, or you have to, the major players are not even selling albums like that. You know what I'm saying? They're attaching it to t-shirts and posters and fucking tickets and shit like that.
Yeah. It's like it's like the music is almost nothing more than like a soundtrack to the product now.
Exactly. Also, the streams are only like I think they only count 90 seconds as a actual stream. So now the actual songs are getting shorter. You know what I'm saying? If you don't notice it, a lot of these major artists are only doing like short ass songs because
2 verses.
exactly they're not doing full songs as what we grew up listening to or we're accustomed to because the game is all about the streams now. No one's selling albums because ultimately it's because the consumer doesn't want to buy albums. So the reason why got into this whole thing saying all this is because I'm content with just creating something, putting it out, something that I'm okay with or something I worked hard on and putting it out there and letting it do whatever it does, to let it take a life on its own, put it in places where it can be heard and then just let it live, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm not looking to get paid off of it. You know what I mean? I would love for it, but it's just not, to me, at least for me, it's not a realistic kind of thing to get paid as far as the way these people are getting paid off of selling albums. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also, you know, these guys, they have other sources of income too, man. You know, like, for example, they'll have a clothing line like the Rockawares or the Crenshaws, or excuse me, the Marathon clothing, you know. But I feel like there's a different stigma of like rappers that have other sources of income, and then you have rappers that just got a day job, but that's a source of income.
Yeah.
But you're working for someone else versus you have your own little company, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that stigma is whack, bro. Like, obviously, it's almost like an elephant in the room. Like, you walk into a room with a bunch of up and coming artists at some convention or something, you know that everyone in there got a day job and some people are hustling on the street and shit, but no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to be like, damn, bro, work sucked today. Yeah. You know? But dog, some of the most interesting artists, they straight up got, bro, there was some MLB players that would get a job in the off season, you know, not because they weren't making enough money, but because it makes them feel productive and they can use the extra cash for whatever reason, you know, or they'll help their dad with their shop or something.
And their contract must have sucked then. But I feel you.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like this whole stigma of like having a day job is like corny, you know. To me, that's whack as fuck, because think about it. Like, if you don't want to have a day job, you want to come off like you're living full time off your music, which most of the time is a lie. Like, what ends up happening is you got to make money because you got to feed your family or you got bills. Yeah. And what do? You start fucking selling drugs, you know? You start doing shit that enables you to make money, but doesn't make you show up in a uniform or with a name tag or something, you know? And
that's the thing. You know, I can't knock people's hustles, whatever they have to do to feed their families. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and sometimes people get backed in the corner. Sometimes people, that's just the way, the life that they're accustomed to, and you know, man, that's the way that they know. But the way I see it is, you have to. I mean, right now, what we're doing right now, just for instance, what we're doing right now, we're recording a podcast. We're going to broadcast this. Same thing with the music. You broadcast your music. I broadcast my music. You know what I'm saying? That is a beautiful thing in general. You get what I'm saying? Like, your music and your platforms reach a broad amount of audience. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might not be the multi-million subscribers or followers or whatever, but got a good amount of people, you know what I'm saying? And it reaches, and that spreads, and it spreads, and it spreads. So the whole thing with the day job thing, people should never be afraid to talk about their day job or just shy away of having a day job. You got to feed your family. You feel what I'm saying? I was talking to Mowgli the other day about this. I was like, look, you know, he came up to me and he was like, oh, well, what you doing? You know what I'm saying about this music stuff or like what am I doing in general for this music shit. And I told him, unfortunately, art reflects life and life reflects art. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth. So I told him, I'm like, look, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeding my family. I'm doing my stuff. I got my day job. I do my shit. So at the end of the day, this music shit comes second, even though it comes first in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like my family has to get provided first. You get what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm rambling into a tangent.
No,
right
this
now,
is what podcasts are for, bro. Keep going, man. It's fine.
But I broke it down to him. I was like, look, man, you know what I mean? I always got my little side hustles on money making schemes here and there, but at the end of the day, I still feel content with what I could do on this microphone, what I could do in my studio and my setup that I have at the house. And I'm content. I don't really need millions of followers, because as long as you could reach a few people, like for instance, that CD, the Beleaf System, it aged well. I put it out years ago. The very fact that people even remember the name of it
speaks volumes for sure.
Exactly. And to me, I'm content with that, because it's like there was something that something about that tape reached people in some kind of aspect, and I'm grateful for that. So.
Are you cool with saying like what your day job is? Is that something that you'd rather not speak on?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, it's cool.
I wouldn't speak on it because what I'm saying, I'm not.
No problem. Yeah, because man, like another thing too, bro, is that I feel like, man, I was gonna go somewhere with the whole day job shit, but
it's funny. I'm kind of contradicting myself. People shouldn't be ashamed to to speak about their day job, and I'm like, nah, I can't talk it.
Is that what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is, bro. Is that there's there's like a stock value in the artist. If you see somebody, right, that drops amazing music, but they have a day job, subconsciously you're gonna think to yourself, this man's music is not worth enough rallying behind to openly say that you're a fan of what he does. In secret, you will, yo, man, what you're doing is great. But you're not going to proclaim to the world, I rock with this man's music, or whatever, or tattoo a lyric on your forearm, because subconsciously, the fact that this guy's not even doing it, like not making a full-time earning off of his music, almost makes it seem like it's not good enough to openly support,
Well, yeah, people probably, I get what you're saying. People have a tendency to put certain people on pedestals when they're doing certain things.
Yeah, it's like, Jay-Z made a deal with Samsung for his music. His music gotta be good. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's
even though it is obviously Jay-Z's music is good.
Yeah, Jay's good,
but like if you found out that some guy over here reveals that he has some other hustle that he does on the low in between album releases, it'll make you question if you want to dedicate your precious time to consume this man's music.
I agree.
Like there was a study that came out that says that the best hip hop artist to listen to before a job interview is 50 Cent. And it's like, damn, hold on, this makes sense, because his music is about chasing the bread by any means, and you got to get that job. You're gonna pump yourself up to that,
or that, or shoot the person that's interviewing you,
which is true, Well,
yeah, no, 50's the man. I love 50. Just listen to his interviews or the shit, yo.
Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, I feel like 50 is one of these guys that, whatever. I'm not even interested in delving into 50. There's more important things to talk about with Beleaf.
Of course.
Listen, man. Nostalgia, bro. Like you're a dad now. How's your relationship with your dad?
My dad, great. I mean, me and my father talk a lot about politics, and my father's a very smart dude, and just every day I see him. What I'm saying? Because my son goes to high school right next to his house, and he goes over there, and I got to pick him up from over there. So every day I see my father, and we sit down, we chop it up.
Every day?
Every day.
Wow, that's awesome.
I try to keep a close relationship with my parents. What I'm saying? Because the way I see it, man, you know, those are the two individuals that are always going to be by your side or whatever. You know, at least in my circumstance, because you know people have different situations, but in my circumstance, my parents are like my best friends. You know what I'm saying? I could go over there, kick it with them, and talk shit with them. You know, and my father, he's really big in politics, and he's always like kind of brainwashed with that fucking MSNBC shit. And I'll make fun of him about it, but you know, it's cool to just kick it with him and just talk.
Do you see yourself the way that you were raising your son? Because your son's name is Nazir, correct? No.
My second son, yeah.
Your second son. You have
Baby.
two sons.
Yeah, the baby is his middle name's Nazir. His first name's Blake. My first son is named after me.
But like, do you see yourself raising your sons the same way that your dad raised you exactly? Or like, what are some lessons that you learned from being raised that you can pay it forward in the way like progress? You know what I mean? With how you're raising your kids.
I mean, there's definitely a difference. I mean, because my personality is different from my father's. My father, I would say, is better at sitting down and listening and talking, and you know what I'm saying? With me, my relationship with my son is like, hey, I need you to do this. You know, I'll explain it and all that stuff like that, but you don't do that shit, hey, you know, there's gonna be consequences. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that you so that your dad sat down and broke things down with you more than you do with your kids?
No, I break stuff down. My father would not, how would I say? He wouldn't break stuff down. It was different because my parents separated during like I think I was 8 or 9 or whatever. So when they separated, you know, my mom was dealing with that. My father was out of the house, so I was out there running around, hanging out with friends and shit like that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like different. My kids, even though I'm not with the mother of the first two, they live with me and with my wife. So they have a family-based thing. So it's a little bit different, you know. When I was in high school and in middle school, there wasn't a lot of people checking my grades or any of that shit. And with them, I'm all on top of that shit. So,
man, that's awesome, man. I hear stories all from what you're saying now, and also, you know, mind you, I'm not trying to drop any names or whatever, but you know, so when I was arrested, you know, mind you, after I did everything that I had to do and I got sentenced and I had to do the time that I did, the counselor in the prison told us that statistically, men that grow up without their father in their life heavy, like how you say you talk with your dad every day, yeah. Men that don't talk with their dads, that don't have a close relationship with their dad, statistically get arrested more, end up being convicted as a felon more, and involved in drugs, criminality, things like that, right? Yeah. And you know what's interesting, man? Like I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and I want to tell myself, yo, you're a good person. You know, you want what's best for people. You love the people you love. You're putting out positivity into the world. But on paper, it'll say otherwise, you know? Yeah. Because on paper, I've been arrested for a drug charge. I did time. Yeah. You know, I don't have any kids yet, this and that. On paper, it'll seem like I'm not a good person. But I know I am. And people that are in my life reassure me of that. But when I look at the rap sheet, it's like, damn. So I start to reflect on like my relationship with my dad, you know? Yeah. And it's tough because you don't want to blame anyone else but yourself, you know? My dad is a strong man. My father was a strong man, you know? Yeah. But like my dad lives 10 blocks away from here. And I wish that I would see him more because he's right there, you know? But I don't really see him as much as I know that I should. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. Like, what is it about? Mac Miller has this one line where he goes, I still don't got the heart to pick the phone up when my dad calls, you know? Yeah. And it's interesting, man. I've been on this like little search. I'm trying to figure out what's the logic behind conflicted relationships with sons and fathers. And parents could divorce, but you could have a great time with your dad on the weekends and shit.
Yeah.
But something about, we're just human beings, man. Like, we're just human beings trying to figure it out. That's the logic that I apply to everybody. Someone fucked up on the street, I'm like, he's just trying to figure it out. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Definitely. I think it all falls down to effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me use you as an example real quick. From what I've seen of your work ethic all across from when I've known you back in the day till now, let's go back a little bit in your history where you used to come up to me about selling the actual CDs to make CDs and label making and about that and all of that stuff. You learned how to make your own beats. You create your own radio, like not radio, but you create your own videos. You have you do your own marketing. You do everything. So the reason why I bring that up is that you're like a problem solver. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see what the issue is, and then you fill in the gap by effort. So the only thing I would say, the best way to do that, to fix that gap, is effort. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you said, Mac Miller's like, I don't know the actual history of what's between you and your father, but all I know is that effort is at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, my father doesn't live close to me. He lives about, like, I would say, I don't know, about 20-something miles, 30-something miles. Not too far, but not too close either. But I make the effort. You get what I'm saying? And we've had our run-ins, me and him. Our heads collided a couple of times. So, it's just the effort. Not to try to make this into a counseling session or nothing, but just,
but those are the best podcasts, bro, when it goes deep. I mean, same, because you're a dad now.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how you make time to see your dad a lot. And what that kind of tells me is that you're also, like, mad forgiving, because I know you don't have to get into detail. It's just everyone, no one's exempt from this, bro. Everyone has felt the wrath of their dad, at some point, and some people have a hard time just getting over that, man. Some people have a hard time. You grow up and you see your dad as like Superman, and then Superman reveals to you that he's nothing more than a man,
Yeah.
And it's tough realizing that they're just trying to figure it out just like we are. And like right now, we're in our 30s.
Yeah.
When I was 12 years old, someone in their 30s to me was like ruling the world, bro.
They were super, to me, they were like super old. And yeah, I know.
And now we're here like, fuck. Like this is much
trying to figure it out ourselves, right?
Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting, man. I feel like relationships with dads, especially Hispanic dads, there's something about it, bro. Like something about, like the mentality of the Hispanic man in America. Like, I don't know how many generations, everyone is different, but like coming from a different country, like we were born and raised here. Imagine going to Holland, or some crazy, just somewhere else in the world.
Other culture and everything.
And then like finding a girl at the bar and like, or whatever, at the pumpkin patch or whatever, and then starting a family with them.
Patch.
So it's like we take that for granted, bro. I feel like our generation sees our parents as like, it's like, oh, well, you made it already. You came to the greatest country in the world, and you had us. Like, good job, like your flaws. I feel like it's almost like we undermine that they're just only people too. Yeah,
but that's something. At least from when I came to that realization when I got older with my father, I realized, okay, he's a man. You know what I'm saying? Most importantly, at least with my father, he's a good man. You know what I'm saying? And once I realized that, and I realized that he has flaws, and same thing with my mother or any other family member, once you accept that, and you just accept it and just love them for whatever with their flaws and all. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, one of my best friends is Mowgli. You know what I'm saying? And Mowgli is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But he is. I see the good, the great in that man. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their vices and everybody has their stuff. So it's like, I've learned, at least from my family growing up, to accept people for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Whatever baggage or whatever things that come with them, to love. I think a comedian said it. It's like love them for the. Damn, I can't remember the words, but basically love them for all the flaws as well. You know what I mean? And just overlook it.
Yeah, I want to encourage people to, bro, you know what's funny, man? Like sometimes the hardest thing to do is to call them, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have people in my life that, you know, like bro, right now, the background of my phone is, you know, on the iPhone, it says, look, what does that say on there?
Don't call anyone except mom, dad, abuela, and abuelo.
Right. That I put, you know, I screenshotted a picture of some waves and I put some text on that image of that. Why? Because I could call a friend of mine, but my dad would probably want me to call him more.
Yeah.
My grandmother might appreciate a phone call from me and vice versa. But I still fall short of even that, you know? I'll be like, damn, what's Rev up to? Let me just hit up Rev and see what's popping. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know how to fix that, bro.
All right, what's up?
If you want to take my advice, put an alarm every morning. Every morning, get it out of the way from them in the morning. Call each one of them, say good morning. That's it. Don't have to be anything else. You just call each one of them, say good morning, and that's it. Now you've already accomplished calling them every day.
Damn, that's awesome. Beleaf, thank you, man.
I mean,
Yeah, like a morning routine.
A morning routine.
And it's got to be good for the spirit too, you know?
It starts off your day. You know what I'm saying? I used to do the same thing with my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you call your dad just to say good morning, and then 45 minutes later, you're just like, Dad, I just wanted to say good morning. I have to go, please. And then, you know,
they're like, no, but I wanted to tell you something about this Trump situation. No, I gotta go.
you're just like, you know, I have a family member. I'm not gonna say who it is, but I have a family member that I remember one time, and mind you, again, like, it's not a like, you know, it's one of those things. Like, look, man, like, it's not a proud thing that I saw, but it's a lesson to learn on both hands, you know? I had a family member, right, that it's more like a relative. It's not like my sister or my mom or anything.
Yeah.
That I remember one time as a kid when we all had the Nokia cell phones, you know, when cell phones given to your kid from Metro PCS was a big thing, you know? And she was on the phone with her grandmother, right? And you know how like you can hear the person on the other side of the phone. You just hear like the
yeah, like, you know? In the background.
And she put the phone on her shoulder and like kept doing her thing because she wasn't really listening. She just let him talk, you know, and then picked up the phone when she realized that she had stopped talking and went, no, es verdad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember seeing that, and low key that might have traumatized me though. Like, wow, you know, like, damn, bro, you didn't even hear nothing that she said, but she thinks you did. Wow, you know?
Yeah, it's fucked up, but you know, like it all falls down on the individuals at the end of the day.
It makes me wonder how many conversations I've had with people where I'm just like pouring my soul out, bro. It feels a lot like a song that you put up on the internet and you're like, yes, hear me pour my soul out into 3 minutes.
But that's where the content comes from.
And then you get the comment on Instagram saying, yo, that's fire, DM me. And you're like, this is not genuine. Like, you're a robot, you know?
No, but the truth is we all have to have something to go off of to make these songs. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just spitting bars and being aggressive on the mic or whatever, that's anger. That's hidden shit that's inside of us. You know what I'm saying? That we're releasing as some kind of therapy, and it has to generate from some kind of somewhere in part of your life. You know what I mean? Whether it be family issues or vices or like me, I always in my projects I always had women issues back in the day. So you know what I mean? That would always pour into my records. So you know,
what's a vice that you have?
I cut off all my vices, actually. All the vices that I needed to cut off. Like, I used to smoke heavy cigarettes.
I remember that.
I used to drink a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink it. I wasn't an alcoholic or anything like that, but I would drink. You know what I'm saying? You could hear it in the music a lot of the times too.
Like it's just a thing to do. Yeah, it's true. Dub P used to come out with these like vice heavy songs. You know, like you rhyme about smoking cigarettes, you rhyme about snorting coke, and I'm a rhyme about drinking alcohol.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I realized that just wasn't a healthy lifestyle whatsoever, especially when you have a family and all that stuff. So I cut off all those vices.
Like, what did you do? How did you? That's not easy to do, bro.
Yes, I know it wasn't. Especially the cigarettes, it wasn't easy. I was determined, man. I went completely cold turkey. I actually have an app that shows my track. Like since I quit, I think it's been 7 years now.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, it was a New Year's resolution that I actually fucking kept. But I was like, yo, you know what? I was coughing all the time. Like, I was killing myself with that shit. I knew it. I felt it. And then I was just like, yo, you know what? After today, I'm not going to smoke anymore. And I read up on it and all that shit. So I read up how to do it or what, like, the mechanics of it. Like, it's the first 3 days that are actual physicality of urges. But after the 3 days, it's all mental.
I feel like the first 3 days is universal. That goes for it seems like that goes for almost anything. Yeah. Starting a workout routine or like losing weight or cutting out an ex-girlfriend or something, you know? Yeah. Like you need 3 days to get over the initial shock of cutting something out. Yeah.
The girlfriend stuff is a little longer though. That shit takes a while. You know what I'm saying? Not too long, but you know, that shit takes a while if it ends in bad terms and shit like that.
Like what's the longest amount of time that it took you to get over a breakup?
Well, you see, I got over the woman very quickly, you know what I'm saying? But the situation, like for instance, with my baby mother, that shit didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? With my first baby mother, it didn't end well at all. So it was like the situation lingered because my whole life and everything changed off of decisions that she made. You get what I'm saying? So that kind of shit was just like, yo, you know, I went from going to work one morning to come home and everything's gone. You know what I'm saying? And now I got to move. You know what I'm saying? So that like that situation was lingering. To get over the girl was like a fucking week or two, or you know what I'm saying, fuck that bitch or whatever. But you know, no disrespect to my baby mother, you know, we're good now. But I'm just saying, like, during that time, it was like, you know what, effort. You know, you still have the relation, the little feelings in the background, but at the end of the day, it was more for me as a situation. Like the other ones was just whatever.
You know, like when you're the one that's wronged, yeah, I feel like getting over it might feel like it's a little bit easier than when you find yourself being in the wrong, you know? When you're the one that turned ugly, you know? I remember I saw this one image this one time, which is, it's kind of relieving because really the internet is a yes man. The internet, Google is a yes man, you know? Think about it. Anything you...
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Because you go on Google, there's an article supporting any argument. Yeah. So you say Trump is bad, you'll find content on that. Trump is good, you'll find content on that too. Yeah. Broccoli is great, you'll find content on that. Broccoli is not great.
Broccoli causes cancer. Oh shit, it's right here.
Google is a yes man to anything that you search. You know, it's gonna support whatever key words you put in there. So I found this one image. I should have screenshot it. It was a long time ago, where it showed like it was more of a compatibility thing, where it's like Virgo with Capricorn is not compatible. Then it shows Virgo with some other zodiac sign, and it shows that they were like great. But the first image where they're not compatible, you see the guy holding an empty bottle of some alcohol, and he's like in a tank top with a 5 o'clock shadow, stressed out, screaming at the girl. And then in the second one, you see him with a bottle of water, more in shape, cleanly shaved, and like, so it's like the compatibility between two people. Sometimes it brings the pretty out, and sometimes it brings the ugly out, you know? Yeah. And what I realized from like my last relationship was like we ended up not being compatible, and we were so like in love with each other that we try to stick around and make it work.
Yeah.
And it just continued to bring the ugly more and more out. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of like losing weight as you get older, because the longer that you wait, the harder it is to get in shape. And like the longer
Trust me, I know.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like the reason why I brought this up is because, like a vice. You know what's a vice of mine? Like I eat a lot, and I feel like I stress eat. But I stress eat because I already beat myself up about how things turned out, And at the very least, I just don't want to be hungry while being tormented by it,
I feel you. I feel you, man. I've been there, man. Like I have. And the best thing that I could say is, I mean, we're all gonna have our vices. You know what I'm saying? If you walk around without any vice, it's gonna be, it's just not feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure I have a vice. I just haven't recognized. I haven't found it yet. You know what I'm saying? I just eliminated the ones that I knew that was harmful. But as far as that, like, the way I see it, you have to see that you are who you are because of who you were. You get what I'm saying? But you're not that person anymore.
Well, I don't know. Like, I want to believe that. Mind you, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but
Yeah.
I would imagine a lot of people want to believe that, but like we're wired a certain way. Like you wouldn't be able to make a Mac computer run like a Windows unless if you hack into it and like rewire the insides.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we work towards it, we can truly rewire ourselves. I'm yet to do it completely.
Yeah. It takes time. But like I said, it all boils down to effort. You know what I'm saying? You have to make, not you specifically, but I'm just saying that people in general have to make an actual effort to try it. When I was going through my shit, you know what I'm saying, with my baby mother, it wasn't like, okay, 2 weeks or whatever. Like, I had that mentality of like, I couldn't stand her. I didn't want nothing to do with her. But deep down inside, I missed the relationship. I missed everything. You know what I'm saying? I missed the family unit. I missed all of that because that's what everything got lost at. You could actually, on that 338, I have a whole song talking about, it's called Fighting All My Demons, that elaborates on that whole scenario. But in the end of that song, I see like there's a uplifting ending to that song. It's like, nah, I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Basically knowing that you have to go through all that shit, because once you go through all that shit, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark it is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure in your situation, right after, like when it was brand new and all that stuff, it was more devastating. It was more dark. It was more, it felt worse. But every day, gradually, it gets better. You get what I'm saying? That's how what happened with me. It was just eventually got better, and then, you meet other people and shit gets better.
I think that what it is that you realize that how do I want to word this? It's like you realize that you're the one at fault, and the shame that comes with it will eat away at a man, Like, especially, bro, like you want to be, how do I, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the ugly comes out of somebody, it's not that they are a fucked up person. It's that everyone is capable of becoming fucked up, and some fall victim to that,
Yeah.
And then coming back from it is like a moment to be proud of. Like, yo, I came back from it. But you still got to live with the fact that one time in your life, you allow the pressure to get to you, and you'll say some mean things or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like I said, you got to look back at that. Look at that person that you turned into, or whoever turned into, right? Accept that person. Be like, all right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's who I was. That's exactly. I mean, I said a bunch of crazy shit during my stuff that does not live up today. You know what I'm saying? Because it was me at that time and my understanding at that time and how I was feeling at that time. But once you accept that and be like, man, fuck all that shit. I don't want that no more. I don't think like that no more. And it's done. That was just something from the past. You know, you gotta always look forward. If people essentially that look too much in the past,
They miss out on the moment now.
it's not only miss out in the moment now. It's people that usually look towards the past all the time. They live in the past and they start becoming depressed over it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, you know, for instance, oh, the person that was the man in fucking high school. In high school, you was the man, homie, fuck happened to you? You know why? Because that motherfucker is still living in high school. He's still dwelling in that high school mentality. You know what I'm saying? Not the mentality, but that he's dwelling in the past. There's a saying about it where people that live in the past, I can't remember the saying, but basically people that live in the past, they're more depressed. People that look in the future are anxious.
Anxious, yeah.
And people in the present is something else. But that shit is golden advice there, because that's the truth, man. Like, everybody that I know that always refers to shit in the past, deep down inside there, it eats away at them.
You know why I think that is? It's because when we were kids, we're like a blank canvas, you know? And then you have all this potential. And then time passes, your mistakes get documented on that canvas as well.
Yeah.
And then you look back, as so much time passes, you look back at that canvas that is you, and you only notice the fuck-ups instead of appreciating that that's part of the bigger picture, because they're so focused on the small little smudges, you know? And and then that like defeats them. They're like, damn, bro, like, it's like you study all night for the exam. You study a whole month and you take the exam and you get 99% right. And that 1% eats away at you because you knew that you were capable of getting 100, you know?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. One of the things that I love about the content that you put out in all platforms of yours is that you focus on the daily small, it seems like you appreciate the small things. You know what I'm saying? Like the small things. And look at everything that you post. And I follow you and I listen to the things that you talk about. I see the stuff that you put out there. And it's like, what you're doing to me is great. Like, what you're doing is great in my eyes. Because you'll go to the corner store. You know, I got to get my coffee. Or you go to, like, I forgot where, you went to like a shoe store or some kind of store. Not a shoe store. I can't remember the actual store, but you had I think A-Hole Sniff glue thing was in there too, like a sticker.
That's a N Light. Shout out to N Light in Wynwood.
Yeah. You went in there. You know, I never been there. You know, I live in Broward now, so I never been there or whatever. But you were just kind of like showing the little things of everyday life in Miami, even down to your projects names, like it's 12 a.m. You know what I'm saying? I live in a transit city. You know what I'm saying? Like. All of that shit is like appreciation for the smaller things. And to me, I think that is the secret to life, to appreciate all the small shit.
Yeah, because you know what it is, man? Like when you experience loss, you know?
Yeah.
It could be someone passing away or a girl leaving you or a friend moving away or whatever. When you experience loss, you gain that perspective of like what once was there. And then you can really appreciate that, right? And I thought that I had a grasp on that before 2016. But then when I went through this breakup, right? I was with this girl for like 7 years, and then I got arrested, and I was facing 15 years. Yeah. And I fought that case for 7 months, and all this, my whole life was like in the air, you know. That's when I came out with this project, 1202, and I put out 1202. Before I was sentenced, because in my mind, I'm thinking this might be my last project, you know?
Yeah.
Then I get sentenced to the amount of time that I did, and I come back out, and Miami hasn't changed. there's still pan con bistec and medianoche and lo cafecito,
Yeah.
but it tastes so much better because there was a chance that I would never fuck with that again, you know?
Exactly.
So it's like that the concept of a transit city is because there's so much hustle and bustle. When was the last time I seen you before our last podcast? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Been a long shitload time.
right. There's so much hustle and bustle. Social media makes people feel connected without actually spending time in person. That like, damn, bro, the 5 minutes that I get to chop it up with someone in person, let me really be in that moment, you know? Because before I know it, they're gonna go, and so will I. Yeah. And that's life, you know?
And exactly. And that's how I try to approach everything. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the little things. I appreciate family, especially, you know, because, you know, like you said, and people are not here forever. You know what I'm saying? So you got to appreciate them while they're here. But when they're gone, you have, you know, just accept that they're gone and then appreciate more shit. You know what I'm saying? More down the road. That's how I see it. Like, quick to reverse on like relationship shit, right? When me and my baby mother split, I had this whole campaign in my mind. I was like, yo, George Clooney #2 over here. I'm never fucking getting married. Fuck that shit. This and that. And I went into my little player days, rebooted back into the player system, you know what I'm saying? And I was getting a lot of women. I was, you know, doing my thing. But met my wife, you know what I'm saying? A real good person, inside and out, beautiful all around. And, you know, I ended up marrying her. You know what I'm saying? When I never even that shit was not even in the plan. I was like, hell no. And it kind of just all fell together. Because I'm a strong believer in God, and I believe God just lays down the pavement for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I see things. Like, that's the one the father, I mean, not the father, the mother of Blake, and that whole crazy story I told you about their birth in the last podcast. About her.
Oh yeah, when the lights flickered.
Yeah,
that's
flickered. Nah, that shit turned off for like 2 hours. Yeah.
Damn, that's
yeah.
a crazy story, and it's true, man. Like, I'm a strong believer in God too. Like, sometimes I try to describe, you know how people they're at conflict with like the idea of free will and how God is in control at all times, and I kind of feel like it's like we are on like a chessboard, right? And we're the pieces and we move ourselves, but God is sitting there watching over us. And every now and then he'll be like, all right, hold on. And he'll make a move, you know?
Yeah.
Like he'll move a piece at a certain spot. And then he kind of leans right back and just keeps watching us move ourselves, you know?
That's a good concept, man. Yeah. I feel it's similar to that, but it's just, I feel that everything is kind of paved the way, like you said, we control the turns and all that stuff like that, but in every turn, it's gonna still lead us to where we need to be. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, like every now and then, God, bro, he like sweeps in and just goes, all right, time out. Hold on.
You fucking up.
You fucking up, bro. Come here. And like low key, bro, you know, man, I had this conversation one time with someone when I was driving Uber, and it's weird. Like, you know the show Taxi Cab Confessions?
Yeah.
Like, my Uber rides kind of turned into that a lot. You know, like we'll just have a heart to heart for 15 minutes. You know, and this one guy was like, man, you know, I just don't know how I've been through so much, man. I don't know how God can exist, bro. I don't know. I don't know how he can exist. I've been through too much, man. Like, why would he let me go through all that? And bro, I was driving and I'm like, bro, I've been through so much, man. I don't know how God can't exist, bro. Straight up, yo.
Yo, for real, I was gonna tell you, man, like, you know, when you were saying all the stuff that you went through, you know, like how you said, when you look at the canvas and you look at the negatives, like, yo, I went through this, I went through that, I went through that. But you're not highlighting the most important parts. Like, the highlight is like, yo, you got out. You're not, you right now.
Facts. You're
on a podcast of your own creation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're back in Miami eating the bistec, you know, the cafecito, drinking. You're doing that shit because of the blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like people only want to give credit to God for the big things.
Yeah.
They overlook the little things too. But the same thing goes for like, you know, the evils, bro. Like people only want to give credit to the evils when it's something really big, like a big car accident or something.
Yeah.
They don't want to give credit to like the evils of man when like you know you should go for a run but you don't, you know?
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with taking a run off, you know? But like big and small, there's a tug of war going on,
Yeah.
you know, internally.
Sin's small. Like I don't want to turn this into like a church thing, but like a sin is very small. It starts off small always. You know what I'm saying? And just essentially grows and turns into a bigger thing.
Facts, bro. Things only grow, bro. Like the universe is expanding. You know, the actual universe is expanding, bro. Like ripples, when you throw a rock in a body of water, those ripples, they only expand outward, you know?
Yeah.
Things only grow, good and bad, you know? Like, in fact, things that implode, like, if an implosion, like, large enough, I would imagine must create, like, a gaping hole, you know? Like a huge void, you know? Like, that's crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty fucking crazy. Like when hearing you say it like that is, it is. I never thought of it like that, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You know, like I try to give people like the benefit of the doubt, man. Like, bro, when you really think about it, you know, Earth, right? Yo, check out this picture, bro. I'm gonna show you. It's from my homegirl Annie that I've known for a long time. Like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna describe it on the mic so that people can see what I'm trying to explain. But she posted this photo from a satellite in outer space, right?
All right.
Of the Earth. Yo, look at this. It's a satellite in outer space pointed at the Earth in the middle of the fucking universe of the galaxy. Look at how small that dot is.
Yeah, it's just,
you know,
that's crazy.
And that dot is everything. Is Earth. You know,
it's everybody we know. Everything
that we've ever known, and it puts into perspective how, aside from how big everything is to us, but how small we all really are. But really, what that put in perspective to me is that, like, the Earth is this little rock hurtling through space at tens of thousands of miles an hour. I think it's like 60,000 miles an hour. We're hurtling through this vastness of space. And like, if you think you're drifting, bro, we all are, you know? That's why I have this one line in the song that I dropped called On My Way, where I go, when the sky is the color orange in North California with a sandwich from Calico's and a gallon of cold water, then at night the clouds go away and the galaxy shows God's magnitude. Boggles my mind how we can hurtle through space, stand here and feel stagnant too.
That's,
you know,
dope.
It's like the irony that like we're hurtling so fast and yet like we can feel like we're stagnant, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we're all just trying to figure it out, bro, because we're along this crazy ass ride, bro. You know?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like one of the conversations I always have with my father, because my father is, believe it or not, is like a hardcore atheist. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't believe in God or anything like that. So we always have very deep conversations with each other, especially when it comes to that subject matter. And one of the things that we talk about, the questions and my rebuttals that I always come at him with, because I'm on the belief side, obviously, and he's on the atheist spectrum. I always ask atheists this. I said, okay, explain. Especially when they say, "Oh, you believe everything that's in a man-made book," like referring to the Bible, and I tell them, "Yeah, so do you." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Everything that you've ever been taught or learned has been from a man-made book, right?" And they're like, "Oh, but science, this and that." I'm like, "Did you do these tests? Did you run these experiments?" No, you're taking the word for it, right? Which is fine. I'm not saying science is fake or anything. I don't want nobody to be like, "Yo, belief is fucking nut job." No, but the truth of the matter is, when we refer to space, I ask my father this. I go, if you're so sure about all of that, right? Explain to me one thing. What is the moon? And, you know, he's like, the moon? The moon's the moon. What is it? You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a stupid question. Like, yo, you're not making any sense right now. But think about it. What the fuck is a moon? Every other moon, according to the astrological science and whatever the fuck, every moon rotates and all that kind of shit around their planets or whatever, right? Our moon just kind of like fucking faces us all around. It spins, but it spins directly looking at us. We never see another side of the fucking moon. So, you know what I'm saying? But basically, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like you said, we're all just trying to figure it out. Everybody has their own perceptions of everything. Like you said, we're hurtling down space. That's one concept, right? And a scientific concept. And yeah, you know, it seems like it's true. But like, again, we're sitting here, we don't feel that kind of shit, right? We're just taking the word from scientists that made these calculations. And I don't know. At the end of the day, this was all here before us. And it'll be here when we're all gone. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like this. It's like the very fact that people in general, even in religion and all that stuff like that, believe that they could understand God. It's like me trying to explain physics to a roach. You know what I'm saying? It's like the mind concept is not there for us to understand anything.
Yeah, I think it's pretty arrogant of human beings to feel like they need to grasp it all.
Exactly.
You know? It's like, you know, bro, people try to like debunk spirituality with God, with science, but man, it's all there. Like, my interpretation is that science is like the algorithm that existence exists on, that was designed by the creator.
Exactly. Like you're like we're just unraveling the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Like we're unraveling little pieces that show us how shit works.
And then they'll be like, you know, it's funny, man. Like some time ago, I took shrooms, right? Mm-hmm. At some point in time, I'm not gonna disclose. I took shrooms, right? And it came to me. I was like, bro, what if Jesus was on tour and Earth was just one of the stops? You know? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, that is some shroom shit to think about.
Like, yo, hold on. The same way that I visit cities to spread my music, what if Jesus is touring the universe and Earth was just one of the stops and we were a tough crowd? You know?
Yeah, I remember somebody said like, oh, if they ever discover aliens, then that completely debunks the Bible. No, and I'm like, no, not how? At all. No. I'm like, how? Even if they do, let's say they do find it, which I'm a believer. I believe there's other intelligent life somewhere out there.
In the Bible, it says worlds.
Exactly.
You know?
But the truth of the matter is, like you said, it might have been just a pit stop. This is this location. This is like this room. You know what I'm saying? Where this rules and this stuff, the basic instruction before leaving Earth, here, this needs to be in place in this place, and then the other room has other set of rules or whatever the fuck. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You know, we could sit here and speculate all day.
Facts,
but
or not facts.
Facts or not facts. But it's cool to have to delve in to dive into these deep conversations. I mean, I love this type of shit. I live for this type of shit.
Yeah, because look, man, like the same way that I one day realized that the world doesn't revolve around me, same way that we should realize that the universe does not revolve around us, you know?
Yeah.
And once, like Little Dicky in the song Pillow Talk, he goes to the girl, he goes, what do you mean? Why can't we just be like a side project for God? You know? And it's, you know, when you put things in perspective, it's like, damn, hold on. Like, you know, God might have everlasting love for all of us, but we might be undermining God's magnitude to think that we're the only ones. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? But mind you, that's a whole other.
Yeah, that's a deep dive.
You know, you said basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's got to be one of the best acronyms ever.
Yes.
And I feel like a very recent acronym might match that, which is SNITCH for 6ix9ine in the courtroom. No, in the courthouse.
In the courthouse.
6ix9ine in the courthouse, bro. Whoever came up with that,
Yo.
wow, bro. That is a fucking acronym, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
Cause
that kid's singing out there. Bro.
Pusha T came out with "Sorry Nigga, I'm Trying to Come Home," and that was a great acronym too. But
Yeah.
wow, 6ix9ine in the courthouse, they might top that.
I don't think anybody topping that one, bro.
For real, bro.
That's just pretty fucking dope.
But yo, man, listen, bro. Nah, this was tight, bro. I knew that when I was gonna have a sit down with you, you know, we'll talk about the rap shit, which is like, to me, even though the Noche podcast is like my podcast, and I'm a hip hop artist, and I have these sit downs with other hip hop artists, and everyone is just like trying to figure out how to like make it in this music shit. The real stuff is non-music related, bro. It's like when you get down to the psyche of the man, you know?
Yeah. I mean, because that's essentially that's what we're trying to do in our music anyway. Like,
Right.
we're putting out we're wearing our hearts in our sleeves on our music, so the listener could start decoding who we are as a person.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, like songs about rap, I can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I hear you rap about how good you are at rapping,
Yeah.
it's a quick turn off for me as a listener. But songs about like the human experience, that's where it's at, bro.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I always kind of fuck with Dub P when I was younger, because you guys were like very journal entry rap, you know?
Yeah.
And there needs to be more of that, bro. Back when it was Mowgli, you, Joey, Rev, of course, you guys. That's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards kind of like building a camaraderie with y'all, because I always gravitated more towards like vulnerable rap.
Same here.
You know,
Like, I want to hear the person. Like, one of my favorite songs from Jay-Z was Lost Ones.
Oh, amazing.
Because that one was the one he started really kind of opening up about, you know, Beyonce, about his
I don't
relationship
think it's
with...
meant to be.
Yeah.
Be.
But everything prior to that was, like, not very too deep. Like, yeah, he'll talk about the hustle shit and all that stuff, but, you know, I feel you on that. That's one of the main reasons why I think a lot of people gravitated towards M also, because M did a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows the wordplay and the funny bars, but when he starts talking about, you know, the deep shit of what's going on in his life and stuff like that, that's what kind of like grabbed you as a listener and kept you there.
That's why like one of my favorite songs from Eminem is Yellow Brick Road off of Encore.
I love Yellow Brick Road. Yeah,
Encore is one of his most slept on album for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, vulnerable raps I feel like age the best, and they connect most with the people, bro. No one's tattooing H to the Izzo on their arm, bro.
Yeah.
You know, they're tattooing songs that hit them when they were in that sunken, really dark place, bro. You know?
That's why WP made a thing called Universal Language, and the Universal Language track was referring to pain, because it's a universal language. You don't have to know the language of that individual anywhere across the world. We automatically recognize pain. So you hear one of the best songs you ever hear on an album is the one that the artist is spilling their guts about something.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we recognize it.
You got any music coming out?
I think I might do another project with Mowgli, and I think I'm going to do a solo project with me and my son, because my son makes beats. So
That's hard.
Yeah, I think I want to do a track, you know, a few tracks of that. I actually wanted to start working with you too. You know, I want to see what's up about beats and stuff like that. So
I don't think you and I have ever made a song, have we?
yeah, we made songs. We
have?
You were on my 338 album.
I am?
CD. Yeah.
Bro,
It was
for
a God
real?
song too, yo. I reached out to you. I went in and scooped you up. You went over there to.
For real, wow, my memory's bad, bro.
Hey, it is what it is.
You're not the only one that's like telling me about things that I did that I have.
I think we've done a few tracks, but
No
that's
fucking
that
way.
one I know we did.
Wow, my bad.
And you were in one of my videos too. I don't know if you remember that. I went to
Bro.
your crib.
For your videos,
Yeah,
damn, bro. I've been through a lot, bro.
I feel you. Don't worry about it.
I tell people like as of recent, like the last like maybe 4 years, my memory has I use this analogy, right? Which is like whiteout. This is what my memory's been like. You know, you make a mistake on the paper, you take the whiteout to white out the mistake, right?
Yeah.
Well, I accidentally spilt the bottle and it poured over the rest of the stuff that I wanted to keep.
It's blotted out a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so like, bro, like I fell asleep and like my finger was on the delete button, bro. And I just completely deleted like a bunch of memories, bro. So my bad, man.
Don't worry about it, man.
You're gonna
Fuck it,
have to refresh me, you know?
We just need to make new memories, and that's all it gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dope. Yes, I'm down, bro. No, I'm down. I mean, I wanna just put out some dope shit, man. You know? I'm always in the studio too. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what you come out with, bro. The project that you did with Mowgli is
Paradise Point.
Paradise Point, and the artwork was ill. The cover.
I got a shout out to Cam for that. Yo,
It's on SoundCloud, man. Y'all go and check that out. That's Mowgli and Beleaf. But word, man. Are you on Instagram? I know I have you on Facebook, but I don't know if I have you on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's I Am Beleaf. I think that's what it is. I Am Beleaf.
Okay.
I don't know. I never post up shit. It's an actual boring Instagram. But if you want to look at see how I look or my kids look, go ahead.
It's interesting, bro. Like to be an MC nowadays, one has to be forced to be a social media butterfly, and I would rather not. But fuck it, bro. You just gotta kind of conform to it to an extent.
Shit, you
know?
adapted very well because I can't. I just don't do it.
You know, before prison, before I did my time, I wasn't really too open to being outspoken. But man, when you're in there, being quiet for too long it's not a good idea. They're eventually
They'll come to you
and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
You know, and that's and after a while you're like, "Well, shit, how you doing?" And it just starts, you know.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. So this is episode, I think, 44. I got my man's Beleaf here from Dub P. Mind you, that's where I know you from. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I know we're talking about a crew 15 years ago, but I know y'all still connected.
Yeah.
You know. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Art Morera. I appreciate y'all listening. Subscribe also to the SoundCloud, Spotify, everything, bro. Just type in Art Morera and I'll pop up. And go listen to Paradise Point and be on the lookout for Beleaf's upcoming music as well as mine, guys. And don't forget, man, when you wake up in the morning, call your mom and dad and your grandmother and grandfather. Get it out of the way just so that it'll make their day and it'll make your day as well, bro. All right? We out of here, guys.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.